everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Annecy Fable, and today I'm going to be doing some drawings in my sketchbook here. I prefer to watch or listen to videos like this rather than listen to music or anything when I'm drawing, so please do feel free to grab a pencil and some paper and join along in drawing with me. I currently have no talking points for this video, so I'm gonna hope that I can just ramble away. This is going to be my reference for the initial drawing. I really liked her hair, so that was the basis for my inspiration. I am using these Faber-Castell color pencils to sketch with. They were gifted to me by a friend, and oh my goodness, I love them so much. They are fantastic. They don't break. I was looking into getting a bigger pack, but they're quite pricey, so I'm gonna try to utilize what I have here before extending on to something different. At the time of this voice recording, it is December 30th, so the new year is upon us. I wanted to talk about some of my resolutions as a artist who doesn't draw frequently, unfortunately, or at least who didn't draw frequently. I have recently quit my 9-to-5 corporate job, and my creativity and inspiration is at an all-time high. I feel like most of us say we want to be consistent in the new year with our art, and I totally get it. That is one of my resolutions for 2024 as well, but with consistency, I don't mean just consistency as in drawing every day. I mean it as in, yes, drawing every day, but also gathering inspiration and being consistent with my YouTube channel. And lastly, getting out of my box and doing things that are going to inspire me or allow me to learn more so I can expand upon my skills. If you've watched any of my older videos, you will have seen some of my older art, which wasn't the best. Within the past few months, I feel like I have drastically improved despite the fact that I have not been drawing. Why do I think this is? Again, I think it's because I left my old corporate job. After I did this, I kid you not, on one page of my sketchbook, it's drab, hardly filled in, bad art. I know no art is really bad, but just my expectations for myself, I consider the art to be bad. And then on the next page, it's colorful, it's more than just the head and shoulders, it has life and white space taken up. I'm drawing full bodies, I'm drawing inanimate objects like potion bottles and things like that, and it's so fun. I literally feel like my creativity, passion, and inspiration as an artist was locked away somewhere in a dark safe, and leaving that environment that I was in was the key to unlocking it. That probably sounds really, really cheesy, but that is truly how it feels. When I do a sketchbook tour for this current sketchbook that I'm working in, you will see the difference. I was actually debating, because the beginning on the sketchbook is just so boring, I was just debating only doing a tour of the second half. If you're interested in a sketchbook tour, please let me know. Let me know if you feel like the beginning of it is worth showing. You can head back and look at some of my other videos, my first videos done in the sketchbook, as well as my Meet the Artist video. I do not like those videos, so hey, watch at your own discretion. But yeah, Anyway, I've really been enjoying using these markers, color pencils here. They're super fun, but I'm looking to get into colored lead because they are a bit hard to erase. If you have any tips on erasing colored pencils, let me know. But my friend did tell me use the kneaded eraser combined with the regular eraser, and that works pretty good. Um, Speaking of my old job, I was trying to set up my microphone to do this voiceover, and I switched my editing software over from Cyberlink Power Director to LumaFusion so I can edit on my iPad. If you have an iPad, you know it only has that one spot to plug in your charger or your headphones, so I'm currently using a docking station, and that was providing some issues with using my regular mic. And I didn't know what to do because it was also processing it as a headset, so I couldn't listen for any errors or ensure the music was at the right volume or anything. And I had one last idea of what I should be doing or what I could do. So I went and I pulled out my old headset from my job, and I tell you, I was like, I thought I was never gonna look at this thing again. It started to stress me out. That's how much that job stressed me out, and I wasn't even there for that long. For the first time, I didn't put in a 2 weeks or anything. I skipped one day because I woke up feeling miserable, and then I quit the next. No backup plan or anything, and it's crazy. I could make a whole video on this, but I probably won't because I'm just so excited for that point in time where I never really have to think about going to that place again. That's how miserable it made me. But yeah, it was a little bit stressful to just quit with no backup plan, but also the most liberating feeling thing ever. And I have no regrets. I say if you're on the fence, if every day you wake up miserable, everyone's life is different, so it's really hard to say. I was just in a place to do it and, have enough in savings so that I can get a different job in, whenever that time comes. But for now, I'm kind of just gonna chill out and decompress and prioritize my mental health and my passion being creating art, because it is so important to do those things in life that bring you immense joy, that being my art and going outside and seeing my friends and my cat. Other than that, not to get all depressing, but life really doesn't feel like it's worth living if you do not prioritize those things that bring you joy. So, back on the topic of New Year's resolutions, I think literally everyone should just prioritize what brings them the most joy as much as possible. Back to the drawing though, if you take a look at the drawing, the reference I used earlier was mainly just to give me a little bit of basis. It's mostly pose reference, but I really did like her hair as well. It was her hair that caught my eye. Her outfit is not the same as the picture. I just scrolled on Pinterest, looked at some outfits of kind of like older style dresses, and looked at a bunch of those to get inspiration. So she's wearing this off the shoulder dress with a corset that ties up in the front. I think they usually tie up in the back. And here I am struggling with hands, but committing anyway, which is something when I looked at that pose, I was like, oh my gosh, her hands are in front of her. But let's do it. They don't look terrible. They don't look great, but it's really not the focal point of the picture, so I was like, whatever. I'm not going to I'm not going to sit on these hands. They're gonna look how they're gonna look, and that is okay. One of the other things I've been really enjoying recently is embracing imperfection. When you leave room to do things wrong, you create so much space for improvement. I would box myself in as an artist because I knew I could draw a head. I could draw a front-facing head, a 3/4 head, and kind of a side or a profile head here and there. Kind of have same face syndrome, kind of have same hair syndrome, but I can do this and I can do it fairly well. Meanwhile, other things like expression, adding a body, especially a full body. On the page before this one I'm working on, I did a full body from the back and I'm loving it so much. Drawing clothes that aren't just like a turtleneck. Turtlenecks are my go-to. Turtleneck, hoodie, t-shirt are my go-tos. So drawing clothes that aren't one of those three and just allowing myself to go, if I mess up, whatever. And letting things be a little ugly. It's okay. It makes so much room for you to just grow as an artist versus just sticking to what you know. It's hard to do that, especially if you are on social media and you plan on doing something like a sketchbook tour. Everyone's sketchbooks are filled with such great art and they're so aesthetic, and it's really easy to want to live up to that expectation, despite the fact that maybe that's just not where you're at. I tried to live up to that expectation when I wasn't where I was at. There was a point within this sketchbook, which when I do the sketchbook tour, I will point out when that point was, where I decided I'm kind of over this sketchbook. I'm just gonna go through and try to make it YouTube presentable now, and in doing so, I did make some aesthetic looking pages, but I was just creating art that didn't make me feel any type of way, or wasn't really things that I wanted to draw. So when I look back at those pages, they still don't look really good to me because it's not what I wanted to draw. I was just doing it simply for aesthetics. Now I think this page came out really, really, really good. Although when I move on to the next drawing, that is not her, I was getting a little like worried when I was drawing it because I wasn't liking how it was turning out, and I colored it. But I think I saved it. You'll see at the end when the whole page is complete. I think I saved it, and the whole page itself, it looks great to me. And I'm not the kind of person to usually say that about my art, to really feel confident or toot my own horn, I guess you can say. But I'm really happy with how this came out. In the past few pages I just did for my own leisurely fun off of camera, just enjoying my creative spark. I've been loving how they've been coming out, and to me they do look aesthetic, and I wasn't even trying that hard. Like, it really wasn't my intention to make them the most aesthetic looking thing. So find what you like to draw and draw it. And yeah, she looks like she's just a pretty girl, but it was the intention behind it. It was the time frame that she's supposed to live in. In my head, I'm giving her like a whole personality and stuff like that, and a family and friends and occupation or whatever, and it inspires me, and therefore I create good art. So I think she's done here, yeah, and we're moving on to the next person. I decided to draw a dude because I have not drawn a dude in a while, and my art journey was strange. Okay, if you only draw girls, let me know in the comment section. If you only draw guys, let me know in the comment section as well. And if you do a balance, let me know as well. I feel like it's hard to really find people who do a balance, and it's always so interesting to see like someone who only draws girls just suddenly draw a guy, or someone who only draws guys to suddenly draw a girl. For me, I've been drawing my whole life, just self-taught, and I did go to college back in 2020. We all know what was happening in 2020, so that was a experience that I did not finish. I went for fine arts and did not return after winter break. The whole thing was online, and when I say online, I don't mean Zoom classes. I did not get to see the face or hear the voice of any of my professors, which I'm pretty sure you can imagine if you go into college or anything. If you even go into school and took an art class, whether it's middle school, high school, whatever, that's a little bit like, it just doesn't work. It's not practical to just not be able to have a face-to-face, or not even face-to-face, but see you, receive your instructions or anything like that. It was just weird to just be doing everything through text. Like, I really felt like I felt like I was still being self-taught, and my computer was breaking down. My house has flooded. There was like some hurricane or something that happened, and at the time my house was near a river, and it had flooded and became uninhabitable. So I stayed with some family for a bit, and it was just really chaotic. So I did not finish college, but that was a little bit off topic. I have been drawing for my entire life, for as long as I can remember, and just kind of taught myself things based off of what inspired me. As a kid, I'd watched a lot of Sonic and Pokemon, and I would put a piece of printer paper on the TV, and me and my siblings would like trace. Oh, and Dragon Ball Z, we would just trace. And I think that was really the start of creating art as a kid. So I started off drawing. You guys are probably like, where is this going? This is what I do. I can just ramble. But anyway, I started off drawing only guys. And I think there's kind of a reason behind that, which I may get into in a later video. It could be really interesting to talk about on here. And I never drew girls. It was really rare. Like, I used to draw like Princess Peach and Daisy, and that was about it. But other than that, I was not drawing girls. So I started drawing only guys, and I was like, I don't know, girls are just hard to draw, guys are easier, whatever. And then I started drawing a lot more girls, and I was kind of strictly girls for a bit. And I feel like I'm a bit both. It really depends on what I want to draw. If I'm thinking about drawing something a bit more cutesy, you're probably going to see a girl. If I'm thinking about something a bit more kind of stereotypical, like swords and stuff, like I'm probably going to draw a dude. But that's not always going to be the case, because when I have my like thoughts of a fantasy world and fighting and things like that, girls are included in that, and not just as like fan service side character. A girl will actually play a role. But I guess those are just kind of my defaults. It's cool to be able to do a balance now. It's fun to be able to do a balance. I would love to draw a girl with a sword or a dagger or something like that. I mostly draw guys with that, but that's actually just one guy I ever draw like that, and it's my OC from my story. So that's that. Either way, probably getting confusing now. Let me know what your default is, and if you do have a default, Do you know why you have a default? If not, whatever. Sometimes it's just what we're comfortable with. Speaking of comfortability, I know I said get outside of your box earlier, and getting outside of your box is going to allow you to grow as an artist more, but I've been seeing a lot of have you guys been seeing, especially on TikTok, people shaming artists who only draw something one particular type of way? Before I move forward with this topic, right now I am coloring the skin, and as you can see, I put the skin down as yellow first. Does anybody else do this? It was really just something I did a bit ago in my sketchbook to experiment and then layer the brown on top. I really like how it comes out versus just the brown on top of the white paper. I don't know, there's something about it that I really like. Let me know and give it a try if you use color pencils. But anyway, back to TikTok. Have you guys ever seen well-known, or not well-known, but artists who are, I guess you can say, more advanced, and people complain oh, or they ask a question, why don't you draw, let's say, why don't you draw any black people? This is the example that I'm going to use because clearly, as you can see from my hand, I'm black, so I guess this is a reasonable example for me to use. But, and the artist is, I don't know, I just feel like those questions, they can either be good or bad. And I say that because it can allow someone to think, that's interesting. I never really noticed that I don't expand my art outside of drawing people who have light skin. Yeah, I want to start drawing people who have darker complexions. Or it could just put the artist in a really weird predicament. I think that we should form those questions differently. Instead of going, why don't you draw black people? Because that seems a little aggressive, doesn't it? We could say, hey, I would love to see I love your art. You have an amazing style. I love how you color. I would love to see the way you portray darker skin. I mean, you don't have to say all that, but you get the point. You could just, sorry, my phone. Don't know if you guys can hear that. But one could just say, I would love to see how your art, how your coloring style portrayed for darker skins. Or let's say the artist does skin coloring tutorials and they don't do a darker skin. Could you do a tutorial for coloring darker skin? And if the artist doesn't know how, it could be a learning experience for everyone. Come along with me as I learn or as I teach myself how to color darker skin. Or if they do know how, they can show people. And then if the artist does know how, then it can potentially be a better time to propose the question with why. Wow, you do darker skin so well. Not trying to be rude or anything, but may I ask why it's not portrayed into your art often? Especially since you're really good at drawing it. And it's more productive, or I'm not sure if productive is the word, but it comes out way less judgmental sounding. I don't know. Opinions? Let me know your opinions on that kind of thing, because I feel like whenever I see questions like that, I kind of already know the intention behind it. And most of the time, not all the time, I feel like it's not good. I feel like a lot of times when we come out from the rip, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? It's there's a little bit of I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit of something outside of genuine curiosity behind it most of the time. But yes, half of us are self-taught, so let's be kind to each other and a bit more gentle, because especially if this is your passion, it doesn't feel good to be judged on it. Anyway, I am loving how this dude looks right now. His hair, I went in with that purplish color and went over top of it with the red. And I don't mean to jump back and forth from topic to topic, but I myself also do not draw darker skin as much as I would like to, and now that I have this influx of creativity, I am so excited to explore that. And I think that I didn't draw it often as a, self-taught artist is because that's not what I seen. You look up a tutorial, you watch anime and everything like that, and that's just not what you see. And we can also talk about how, the color box of color pencils that we used as kids and everything, peach was considered the skin tone. So yeah, I'm super excited to explore that more. I love drawing. When I do sketches, I tend to portray ethnic groups more in sketches than finished drawings like this one. So, and I definitely do it more in digital art too, because I can undo with ease. But again, that goes back to that fear of messing up and keeping yourself in a box. It is so fun to experiment. But that was a super long ramble that I hope you enjoyed. Here is the guy. He is looking so beautiful. I'm so proud of myself. I don't know. I just feel so proud of myself. Wow, you drew that. And I know it's not amazing or anything like that. And the inking was so just rough and sketchy, and I love it because I'm not good at inking at all. But anyway, those are the washi tapes I got from Michael's. I went with my friend. It was so fun, and they're perfect. They match my nails. If you can see, I have this metallic purpley blue for my nails. And right now I thought so long. I was thinking so long about something kind of corny to write on there, because I just came to the conclusion whatever I write on here, it's about to be corny, so let me just be fine with it being corny. And I kind of like it. It's cute. It's corny and cute. It says, "Do the plants talk back? What do they say?" And I really love it because you ever talk to a plant or hear that talking to plants is very beneficial for both the plants and you? If you have, that's kind of where I was going with that. Anyway, we are nearing the end of the video, and after I taped that down, wrote that in, I was feeling a bit lost. I don't know how I'm going to fill in this white space. I don't really want to add another head here, and I don't really know what kind of inanimate object to draw, and I didn't really feel like looking for references again. I just kind of wanted to stay into the groove of things, so I went ahead and I drew more leaves because coloring them was really fun. I really liked how they came out, so drew more leaves with the intention of coloring them, and here I am doing that now. I go in with yellow, and then on top of the yellow I go in with that lime green, as you're going to see me do now. And after this lime green, I go in with the darker green, which I actually skipped in this time lapse. I just skipped it because it was going to look repetitive with two greens, and I only do the greens on one side. And then finally, I go in with an orange, leaving spaces for the yellow to still peek through. Once I'm done this, I'm just going to write in some 222s, I believe it was. I have been seeing this number a lot, and I seen it as I was drawing this, and that's why I'm writing it in there. But that's about it. My throat is super dry. I feel like I've been talking non-stop, no stops or breaths. I really hope I don't sound out of breath in this video because I did a good job rambling, giving myself a pat on the back. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please do leave a comment and like and subscribe. I plan to be making a lot more videos. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching and see you next time.